Welcome to the second video in the Gale training series. The other video we had started with search, and hopefully you got to take a look around and find some resources that you could use with your students. Today's class is going to focus on resources. So there's a section called My Class Resources, and that has quite a bit packed in there. So we're going to take about 5-6 minutes here and go ahead and explain all of that to you. From your Gale Context for Educators home screen, you can find My Class Resources in the top right-hand corner. And also, if you were to scroll down, you also find them here on the bottom section of the page. When you click on My Class Resources, you'll find a box here that has all of your folders in it. I have 2 folders that I set up for this demonstration. The way I did that is I did a search, and I just clicked on the tool up there that's called New Folder. When you click on that, it's going to just ask you if you want to name a new folder and drop some stuff into there. And when you do that, it ends up here on My Class Resources. When you open up any of your folders, this is what you'll see. You'll see a list of your resources that you have in your folder. The first thing you should work on is tagging these resources just to keep a little bit of direction and make it easier to find your work. If you look on the left-hand side, you can see what type they are, but then you can also see right here, you can just hit tag. And when you tag something, there's a couple of automatic ones that come up. But these are just things that you may use for your classroom, so you can just select them. If this is going to be a reading, but this may be a viewpoint. This can be a video. Whatever you may want to add, all the videos are already there, but you can start to select pre-built ones, or as I showed you a viewpoint, you can select your own. And then you just hit close. And then now that has the video tagged, or whatever the resource is, tagged with custom tags. Those tags are going to help you stay organized, and they're going to help you find stuff a lot faster. It also is going to help the students as well when they're looking for their work and looking for things that they're going to see. If you see where something says visible to students and say you don't want that visible to students quite yet, it's just a radio button you can just turn off. So that is not visible to students at this time. So after you tag some stuff, you can start to collaborate. Collaboration is working 2 ways. One, I could just share a whole folder, or the other way, I can work actually with someone. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So what you do here is you select your resource that you want to share, then you hit collaborate. When you click that button, collaborate, and you can do this with folders, you can do this with anything that's on here. These tools will stay there. They are relatively static. I can share a copy. So when I share a copy, all that's doing is sharing just a copy. If I want to work together on something, that's going to really be collaborative. So just sharing a copy is, this is what I'm using, here you go. Working together, totally different story. So just depending on which one you want to pick, you just enter someone's email address, and then you could change your subject and your message. You can even get into advanced and send a folder, all those other things, right? And then just go ahead and send it along, and that's it. Whenever you're putting together a lesson, you run into the issue where I have my resources here and my resources there. I have all these different places that I have to grab stuff from. The cool thing is that in the For Educators product, what you can do is you can just, in your folder, so open up my English Romanticism folder, and I have my stuff in there. But then at the bottom, there's a cool thing where you hit external links. When I click add link, that's going to let me title, like whatever I want to label it, and then throw a URL in there of anything. And that could be my Google Docs, that could be an external website, whatever it may be, it could all be there. So when you share it or you collaborate, this is a place where you can leave everything for that lesson instead of pulling from 9 different places and trying to figure it all out every day. All right, so you've got your folders, you got your resources, and you're now down to this one particular resource. And now you want to work in there. There's so many more tools and so much more functionality that comes apart now. This is where it gets super, super interesting. This is where the education goes in. This is where all the fun stuff is. Okay, so there's like a lot here. So I'm going to try to go through as much of this as possible, and hopefully you'll understand this. This is where there's so much to do. And I'm going to start from the left and work my way right, and then keep working down the page. Okay, so it might take a minute, but there's lots of stuff here. I picked this article, Science is a Muse to Inspire Romantic Art. Man, if you knew me, you know this is my thing, right? So science and art, music working together, this is cool. All right, so we're going to talk about this one thing. I put this in my romanticism folder a little bit earlier. If I work from the left to the right, first thing I can see is the date, when it came from, right? 2009, a little bit older, but I'm not too worried about this being super, super up to date. Where did it come from? All things considered, NPR. We're teachers, most of us might listen to NPR. How long is it? And it's showing a content level 4, okay? So you can see all that. My tag shows up here, my romanticism tag. All right, you ready? Check this out. So I'm gonna go back down over here. This first box here translates the article. Are you listening? Translates the article. You're thinking, oh, Spanish and French? Yeah, whatever. No, not just Spanish or French. You can have just about anything that we may experience in our class in here. I've checked with a few experts, and they said it's pretty good. Okay, you could set the language for the kid or set the language for yourself if you want to read it. Okay, we could change font size, and if you look at the links there, we know that font size can impact comprehension for students. Also, for other students who have different abilities, or students just want to listen to it while riding the bus or going for a walk, can listen to this whole article, actually this whole podcast, and you can just listen. And that's for every single article. Let me say it one more time. Every single written thing on Gale can have translate, larger, smaller fonts, and also listen, okay? We roll over here. You guys all know that's Drive, right? You can send this to your Drive. You've got it. You can email it to someone. You can download it, and you can print it. Those are all tools that you may have heard of before. This instructor's note. This is cool. This is where I can tell the kids, read this article. This is going to tell you about A, B, C, and D, and then bring this over and apply to our message board, right? Or this is going to be for question 5 on the quiz. This is something you should maybe add to your research as you're writing your paper. That's your instructor's note, and you can apply that and that could basically give them the directions for what they're going to do, right? I said I'm going to keep working across, so I'm going to show you this cool thing, right? You just hit those instructor's notes and hit save, right? And that could also just be a note to yourself that you never show to the kids, but this can also be directions. So just follow along. Annotations. So the annotations, you can pull out important parts. So this is a long article. This is a transcript of a podcast section. So there's lots of information there. Maybe you don't want to use all of it. You just want to use a small part. You can then highlight that one section and only for the kids, and also write a note about this one section. So if I were to just highlight this first part, right? And I want to either make a clipping or I want to annotate that. I want to say, this is why we're talking about this. This is why this paragraph is important. This is why this passage is important. I could highlight it in multiple colors. I could do a strike through, and I could also make a clipping. The clipping is pretty cool here. If I were to type here and I make a clipping, when I hit save, it's going to add to my clips. My clips can be only the clips. So if I just I'm using a passage from a reading on here, and I only want them to read this one paragraph, I can easily grab that and throw that in a quiz or throw that into a discussion board. Whatever it may be, I can grab that clip, super easy. Whatever I highlight is mine. I bring it over there, and it's on my clips. Your clips will show up in a list right over here. You can show the full article or only show the clips themselves. Either way you want to do it for the kids, right? This also, the standards here, this one, there's no standards for this one, but if you were to look back, there's a bunch of resources that would have the standards that this article or this podcast, whatever, is tied to. So it's not there for this one, but it's there for plenty of them. So there you go, clippings and annotations. Super cool, super effective. I think you could use this for lots of different things for the kids. This is a way to start a lot of conversations, okay? When I highlighted below, right, you have this information. You can, like I said, highlight colors, super, super cool stuff, right? Now, going through, you can, this is my clip. It's showing my clip right here. I want you guys to see that. It's showing that that's a clip, and it's going to link back to that clipping over there. You can turn that on and off for the kids if you want to. It's all up to you. You do that. You look at student view. So when you click on student view, that's going to be exactly what the kids see. So if you made some annotations for yourself of, hey, I want to highlight this, or I'm going to ask the kids about this paragraph, whatever it may be, you don't want the kids to necessarily see your teacher notes, but you want to see what they see. So make sure you check student view before you send it out to the kids. Okay, makes it nice for you to see. Oh, I forgot. I got to go back to the top because I'm up here already. Citations. I can cite this, and I can have this, and also it gives me a link back to where it was. How many times do you forget where you were, right? Or you want to add some citations. This is also great for the kids because when the kids use this tool works in their version as well. They can do this MLA, Chicago style, whatever you're using, APA, and they can bring it over to these places that they're going to use it. Maybe they're just throwing it into their drive, whatever it may be, and they could also edit it as well. I know a lot of you want them to write their own, but this may be a good example as they're getting used to it to kind of see how it's done properly citing a online database. All right, well, I'm going to roll to the bottom. At the bottom, again, citations down there, right? It talks about the copyright, so you know what you're dealing with. And then it also gives you, again, these options, like I said before, up in the citation, but it's down here as well. Some people don't get all the way down here. It's too long to read, right? So, and then something more that you can look at, something that may be linked to this, and then view all related articles, okay? So take it from the top. We've got telling you information about it, right? Title, what folder it's in, date, all that other stuff. Translate. Oh my God, it's so cool. I can translate this to almost any language in the world, and my students can read it in their native language. In their native language or in the language they prefer. I could change the size of the font. Readability goes up. Audio, of course, these kids are rock and roll, and they can listen to it anywhere they want to do so. You can move it to all these places, just like everything else. I love the notes, giving some directions or giving some notes for myself, annotations and clippings, pulling that stuff out, making teacher notes right here on the site, and also it keeps them there. And you can also delete them all. So if you make these teacher notes and you're like, oh, I'm good, I don't need this anymore, I want to get rid of it, just hit delete and it's gone. Okay, and all this stuff will live with it when it goes to your folder. Okay, because those teacher notes could be on there. How about you think about student view? Okay? Make sure the students see only what you want them to see. Okay, cool stuff. And you can also send to, look at this, Google Classroom. I could send it to. Okay, I could send this right to Google Classroom. Drop it right there. I don't need to log on 5 different places. I just go drop it right there. Okay, email, link, whatever it may be, you can get all that out. These are all tools that are on every single one of their resources. Pretty cool. As always, I'm here to help. This is a lot. This is a new resource. This is a dense resource. There's plenty of stuff in this tool. So I would go ahead and play around a little bit and come and ask me some questions, fire some questions off to me, and send an email. Stop on by the library, whatever it may be. Just come on by, use it. It's great for the kids. The kids use it a little bit in their classes, but they could use it a little bit more too. And there's a lot of tools that are built into this. This is really something that I would not have gone forward with, and this is not something I would bring to you if it weren't amazing. And there's a lot you can do with it, many different subject matters and everything else. So if you need some help, come on, stop by, and I'll help you out. Thanks, everybody.